Now I'm going to just show you guys real quick the UEFI on the BIOS, or UEFI BIOS from Asus. This is a pretty cool new thing that they have. I really like it. Even the novice, I guess you could say, easy mode is really awesome, easy to use as well. And just choosing between power savings, normal operation, or just the overclock. It put it, I think, at 4.2 gigahertz. Perfectly stable, although it changed my memory, which is why I would want to use it. But definitely great for someone who doesn't know a lot about it. But let me just show you the advanced mode real fast. So in the advanced mode, of course, you can make more critique settings here. We have the AI tweaker, which is where you'll do most of your work. I went ahead and chose the AI overclock tuner to DOCP, which enables the CPU bus frequency and CPU ratio and memory parameters. Basically, it lets me choose the special profile on my memory that is the DDR3 at the 79824 at 1.65 volts. So that's what I wanted to do. I went ahead and chose that one, and I can go ahead and change the CPU ratio accordingly. For anybody wondering, it's kind of funny, just not used to the different interface. In order to put one in, when you type it, make sure you hit enter to select it if you type it manually, or use the plus and minus sign to add, or make more or make less. Normally in typical BIOS, I just hit the number and skip to the next line, and it would automatically leave the number there, but that's not the case with this. I turned off AMD Turbo Core technology just simply because leave all the cores running. It helps with the overclock, of course. I left the CPU bus at 200, didn't touch that. PCI Express frequency, left that alone. Memory frequency, of course, is at 1600 megahertz. I left the CPU Northbridge frequency on auto, which it left it at 2000. And the HD link speed, I put it up to 2400. It was 2000 by default, which is one thing I was a little bit, like I mentioned before, a little disappointed about. From my understanding, I thought the chips supported 2600, which that may still be the case, but the lower end motherboard, it looks like, does not support 2600. So 2400 is the highest it would let me go. I did, however, when I did that, it was not stable by itself, so I had to increase the HT Northbridge frequency a little bit, or not the frequency, but rather the voltage, just a smidge. CPU Spectrum and PCI Express Spectrum, I disabled those, of course, helps with better overclock. The CPU load line calibration, I enabled that, and the CPU Northbridge load line calibration, I enabled that as well. Although it doesn't give you quite the flexibility that you have with some of the more advanced Asus UEFI settings, like the load line calibration, it does give it to you, which is nice. I did up the CPU voltage. I think by default it was 1.46 something, and I put it up to 1.48. I did turn up the CPU Northbridge, although I don't think I needed to, just by like one increment of 0.005. And then I left the DRAM at default, everything else on auto except for the HT voltage, which I increased I think by 3 increments, or 2 increments. So not a whole lot of tweaking, just a little bit, just to make sure that what I wanted was stable. I do have it at 4.6 gigahertz, which is the advertised speed that AMD says you can achieve on air. Although with as cool as the chip is running, I think mine runs at a max of, I think I saw it hit 49 degrees with maximum load for several hours, maybe 6 hours, and that's with my fan speed on high. So definitely a cool chip. I think the maximum temperature is, I think, 70. So you can definitely take the chip higher, probably even on air, but it depends on how much you have to increase the voltage, of course. So, but I'm at 4.6 gigahertz, memory frequency 1600 at 79824, and command rate of 1, and my Northbridge frequency 2000, and my HT link at 2400. Under advanced, you can change some more advanced things, and of course disabled the C6 state. One thing I'm not sure, and if anybody else has this board and knows, is that it did have the option to change or turn on and off the cool and quiet technology, which I of course disabled, but I do not see it here anymore, so I'm not sure what setting disables the ability to not change cool and quiet, but it is not available for me to turn it off or on, so I assume that it is off. But I went ahead and turned off the other power saving state that is here. And I love the ability that you can use your mouse in this, by the way. That's just really cool. You can change some settings on the north bridge, which I didn't mess with those really, or the south bridge. The USB configuration, you can turn on your legacy USB or USB 3.0 support. And you can also turn on your power charging feature to charge your devices through USB 3 times faster. And then you can also have this feature to unlock the Asus core unlocker, which is pretty common on most Asus boards. If I guess there was other cores on this CPU, then I could unlock them, but there is not. And you could also deactivate a core or two if you're looking to try and achieve a very high gigahertz like AMD did with enabling just 1 or 2 cores. Then you could get a higher frequency. You can disable that in there. And of course it has the monitor, change the boot devices, some boot settings, and enter your full screen logo, things like that. And then some other tools that you have, the flash utility, the overclocking profiles, and things like that. So definitely pretty nice. I do like it a lot. I watched several videos on it and for myself I'm quite pleased with the UEFI. So anybody interested in that, it's fantastic. Other than that, I think I've pretty much stated all the likes and dislikes about the system. If you guys have any questions, I'll try to answer them as soon as I can. I know my friend's anxious to get this in his house and up and running for himself. So for now, I'm going to go ahead and end with that, and I'll talk to you guys later.